Amen. All right. Have a good day so far. Amen. That one saved is good.
Yeah.
Amen. Praise the Lord today. All right, let's all get our hymn books as we stand and start the service tonight. Page 113 in the church hymnal. Glory to His name. 113. Page number 28. It's a grand and glorious evening. Amen. Just to be walking with my King. Number 28. Everybody get a hymn book on this one now. Everybody join in with us.
It's a grand and glorious
persuaded in all these things we are more than conquerors in love. Amen. Brother Tom, I just want to say this morning, that was glorious. Yes. That song y'all did this morning, it couldn't have been done any better. That was wonderful. Great job, man. That was so awesome. I'm sorry I got a little excited at the end, brother. I got me cranked up, brother. That was really good. Just want to make two quick announcements. One, don't forget about Bible classes tomorrow night. I have been asked that if I'm not a preacher, can I come to preacher's class? You can if you're a male. If you're a male, no females in the preacher's class, okay? You can preach at home. Yeah, the ladies are in the second, third class. You can preach at home, but not in class. Anyway, and also just want to mention that our big visitation is next Saturday. We meet at 9:30 in the building behind us, and we'll be doing the Dallas route. Right, Jeremiah? Villa Rica, I'm sorry. So if you can come help us, and last month we had a great turnout, so we need you to turn out again next week, Lord willing. All right?
Thank you, brother. Good to see everybody in church tonight. Y'all glad you're saved? Say amen. Hallelujah. Hey, we think we're a bunch of hicks around here, but Arkansas has moved in on us tonight. Smell like a bunch of pigs, old Razorbacks, amen. Hallelujah. It's good to have y'all, Brother Matt. It's good to see y'all. They got a whole pew right there. Hallelujah. Man, somebody told me prayed you'd get saved tonight. That'd be good, amen. These are my friends. We love them. It's good to have them. And one of the best meetings I'm in all year, every year, is up there. And we have a good time in the Lord. Amen. And I look forward to it this next year. They've been up to Brother Mark's, and they wound up. They said it got on this morning. So they've been listening to Brother Dean and Brother, what's his name, Dwayne Moore all week. And so they've heard some preaching. Amen. Y'all been eating steak. Y'all come for a bologna sandwich tonight. Amen. It's good to have y'all. A couple of things right quick. Let me reiterate, preacher's class tomorrow night, 6:30. And I'll tell you what we're doing in case you missed it last week. As far as the teaching goes, probably 15 minutes at tops. And then we're going to take time, and we're us older. I get to say that now. Us older preachers. Yeah, you want to, Jack. We get to we're breaking up into two-person groups, and we're praying over these young men. And I'm telling you, that stirred my soul last week, Brother Charles. And that did it. I promise you, it did as much for me as it did for preacher boys. I just been gleaning from it all week long. So looking forward to tomorrow night. Next Sunday is our annual water balloon battle with our bus children. So be prepared. I'm going to say it. I've said it 1,000 times. If you don't want to get wet, do not go out that door, or especially don't go out this back door. You go out the side over there. But if you come out in the back parking lot, you better get it. Amen. And Miss Tabitha loves to get water thrown on her. She stayed home. I'm wondering what's the deal. There's a deal. There's something up right there why she can't get wet. I don't know. I'm going to leave that alone. Oh, man. Anyway, we have a good time. But just to forewarn you, I haven't seen a water balloon in the water balloon battle in a long, long time. It's more like buckets and trash cans and anything that'll hold water. So every year I lay down the law and say no ice. And Clint Warren, I know who it is. They're the ringleader. But I say it every year, and they do it anyway. I just ask for one thing. Let me acclimate first. I come out of this pulpit sweating, I mean hot, and they dump ice cold water down my back. I almost have a heart attack every year. But anyway, we have a good time. If you got some 5-gallon buckets, I'm talking about, halfway clean, a little bit of dried concrete and stuff like that in the bottles, amen? But anyway, if you got something that'll hold water, bring it, and we have to fill stuff up so they can load their little squirt guns and all that. Yes,
You
ma'am.
can imagine those little plastic pools for kids.
Yeah, little kiddie pool. And little kiddie pools. We fill them up with water for the little kids. And we have a good time. And we want everybody to come out at Wheel and get involved with it. And we just have a good time. It's not just for the kids or the bus kids. It's we have fun. And I want these kids to know you ain't got to be some kind of dried up weirdo to serve the Lord. Amen. These kids come from homes they ain't been played with in forever. Ain't no adult got down on their level and played with them. Are you listening? And we get a chance to love them a little bit. Amen. I'm excited about it. Bus workers, those of you, Brother Jeremiah and I talked today, we made an executive decision together, he and I, and we're going to bump the Roundup Sunday up 1 week. It's kind of snuck up on us, and Brother Chris and I will be working on what we're going to do on that Sunday. But Roundup Sunday will be fold up. Yeah, give us an extra. Be the second Sunday in September instead of the first. So anyway, so that's coming up. Thursday night is it in the gym, Brother Tommy? Where you at?
Not entirely sure yet.
Not quite sure. Somewhere on this property, Thursday night, they are going to be having CPR classes and first aid training from 6 to 9. It's $22. Is that $22? $22, and you get a 2-year certification. Listen, I would appreciate it if every bus captain took that class. And if you can't afford it, we'll pay for it. I would like for everybody that works with kids, at least in every children's church, junior church, teen church, somebody in every area be able to know how to do CPR. Amen. And so if y'all would take part in that, all right? And you might save my life one sometime. Amen. There's a few of you, if you start dying, I'm not putting my mouth on it. You just die. I'll give you one of these. All right. Let's have the ushers, right? Quick. Yes, Mother.
Women that subscribe to the Christian Womanhood, please give me your money tonight.
Give Mama money. How about that? If Miss Loretta Walker with a Christian Womanhood little magazine, that thing's pretty good, man. I've read it 2 or 3 times, and I ain't no woman. It's got some good stuff in it. But anyway, she's a lady that was here and spoke on our Ladies' Day. But if you want to subscribe to that, give Mother the money. All right?
Yes.
Let's bow our heads all over the house. But Micah, ask the Lord to bless the offering tonight.
Dear Heavenly Father, God, thank you so much for everything you do, God. I'm so glad that even though we may change, God, that you never change, God. You always love us and are always faithful to us no matter what we do, God. And I pray that you'll be with us in this service tonight, God, that we hear something that will change our lives, God, just to better live for you, God. Bless the rest of the night, God, and everything that goes on, and the rest of the week for everybody, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, kids, come on, get the change offering. Come on. Lots of little money grubbers, come on. Anybody's got loose change for our children's ministry, hold up your hand. They consider $5 bills loose change too, by the way. Hold your hand up. Keep them up till they get to you. On your mark, you said go. I got a question. And I've asked several people and nobody knows. And it's one of the things that ain't got nothing to do with church really, but it's killing me. Young black lady was here this morning. She sat right over here, right where Miss Jennifer's at, in that very spot, I guess. And she rode our bus to church forever. From the time she was little till she's grown. I haven't seen her in a long time. She's back this morning, had her little children with her. Does anybody remember her name? No. 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 Was it Diana? Used to sing in the choir. Diana did. That's who it was. It was Diana. That's who it was. Praise the Lord. That's all I need to know. Amen. Come on, you choir. It was driving me crazy. I couldn't remember.
God.
I was fighting this morning. Everybody was standing up and giving testimonies and everything. Last night, one of my friends that I used to have back in the 8th grade randomly texted me just to see how everything was going. It was pretty crazy just because everybody always starts out there testifying with, I'm so thankful that Jesus saved my soul, and I really am. But I'm even more thankful a lot of times that at age 15 He decided He'd save my life too. Because whenever I was out living in sin, not caring anything about it, He decided to pull me out of that. And it was crazy because I was talking to that person that I knew in 8th grade, and they were just like, wow, that's crazy. You know, everything that's happened since then and everything. Because in 8th grade, I didn't care about any of this. I wasn't doing any of this. But then God decided to reach down and pick me up from where I was. And not only did He save my life and pick me up from where I was, but then He called me to preach. He allows me to be here in this church with all these great people and know these great people. And then in 2 weeks, I'll be driving out to Bible college because it's just so good to me. And He's just picked me up and saved my life too. I just want to thank Him for it.
sing that song, We Shall See Jesus. I look out there and some of y'all just look like you're stoned out of your mind. I ain't lying. Man, I tell you, we're getting stirred up, man. He's coming. He's coming. That man sue me if we don't end this service tonight. Let's stand our feet all over the house. Good seeing you, kids. Y'all come on down. Turn around, shake somebody's hand. Tell them it's good to see you. Church coming. When I say I appreciate the good time of fellowship, that means shut in. In the Greek, that means sit down and hush. Amen. Hallelujah. Y'all come on, please sing. Jesus is wonderful. He's absolutely wonderful. Isaiah said that's his name. His name is wonderful. Amen. Hallelujah. Lord willing, we'll preach in a few minutes. I ain't in no hurry to get out. Y'all driving home tonight or tomorrow? Amen. Now Stan and a bunch of ducks, they come all the way over here. It's a good 7.5 hours. I mean, just rocking and rolling. They drove all the way over here one night and came to camp meeting, turned and went home. I said, you are retarded. Anyway, they did it. You second that. Hallelujah. He's probably watching. Because you know you don't go to church on Sunday night, do you? Yeah, amen. We'll throw him under the bus. Amen. Hallelujah. And listen, you pray for them. They're going to sing. Brother Howard's going to come. Tell us about the jail ministry. And the Lord willing, I'll preach. Amen. Let's mind the Lord tonight. I say He is worthy of some worship. Amen. Amen. Y'all go ahead. Next Sunday, listen, Lexi is eligible to get her driver's license back. Yeah. Only one problem, she's going to have about $1,000. We're going to have it. Amen. Got some graduating, moving on, got to have somebody drive that van. Hallelujah. Amen. God's so good. Well, I need to need to really mention something again. I was talking about that crazy preacher that drove all the way down here from Arkansas, turned around and drove all the way back home. I failed to tell you, he is probably the greatest preacher in the state of Arkansas. I said that because he texted me just about as fast as I said that. He said, I am watching you, thug. We love Brother Stan. Appreciate him. Amen. And we do throw him on the bus every chance we get. Is that right, Brother Nate? Amen. Amen. What a blessing. It is an honor to have Brother Howard and his wife with us tonight.
Yes.
Brother Howard is a chaplain at the Carroll County Jail, or for the whole Carroll County Jail, prison, whatever you call it. The whole thing. He's a chaplain. And but it's not a paid position. And our guys, I don't know how many. I know Brother Warren goes, Brother Adam goes, Brother William goes. There's several goes to jail and preaches. But and he's been faithful to use our guys. And some of you preacher boys or preacher men looking for a good opportunity to go preach, you ought to hook up with Brother Howard tonight. Let him know you're available. And let me just say this, and I don't mean it in a smart aleck kind of way, but if you're too good at preaching that jail, you're too good at preaching this book. Amen. So anyway, we appreciate it. Go ahead, son. Brag on it.
The Carroll County Jail Ministry turned me into a different person.
Amen.
Anybody interested in going there, y'all need to go there so you can save a lot of people.
Amen, brother.
I got to say prayer.
None of us are, son. Amen. Glory to God. I'm telling you, it does you good, Brother Howard, when you walk in the church like that and see somebody that you preach to when they're behind bars. Now, that little boy right there loves the Lord. Ain't no doubt in my mind. It's funny how God had to get him in a place where he couldn't get out. So you hear the gospel and he said, amen. Ain't God good? And we have Miss Christie and her husband tonight. Your wife got saved this morning. Hallelujah. Ain't God good? Go ahead, hon. We know her.
Whenever I hear that song that Charity, that's my child. Every time I hear that, it just touches me in such a way because there's something about God thinking that I'm important and yes. And, when I'm hearing it, I don't really have parents, and what I did have with them, it was abuse and just betrayal, and I took what I knew of that and began to betray myself. I think I was nothing. And there's something about a mighty God.
Well, Howard, if you do anything after that, come on. Listen, I'm just going to tell you, we have missionaries come through from time to time. And usually, if I have a missionary come, I know before they come whether or not we're going to support them. I don't ask the guy to come if I don't already know that we're going to take them on for support. If we don't support this guy right here, we're crazy. He's in our yard. He's in our home. He's preaching to some of the family members. So yeah, I think he needs our support. So we're gonna take him on, and he's gonna tell us what he's doing. Right? Come on, preacher.
Amen. Hallelujah. Blessed Jesus. Amen.
Well, you guys at the back door, can Can you lock those doors for me? They all feel like open the doors.
It does. Even the pulpit lines a bit.
That's something I'm not dealing with. Because I can.
Yeah.
Amen. I'm just not used to it. All right, we'll do it that way. So that's the way I want to deal with that. But it's good to see everybody tonight. Thank y'all for letting me feel at home tonight. This has been a stirring for my spirit tonight. Y'all fed me today with the Spirit of God and see the power of God that this church has on it tonight. Amen. You're so blessed.
Thank you.
Amen. Blessed to have a congregation like we are. And I just thank y'all for allowing us to come out for just a little while today and just to spend a little time with you.
Amen.
Let y'all love on us and let me love on y'all. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. But it's great to hear the testimonies of the men and women that have been into the Carroll County Jail. Because that thrills my heart. I can see something else that is going on. I can see the changes. When they're there, I see them during the time that they're there. But when they're out, a lot of times I don't get to see that. Amen. And y'all bless my heart today. My heart is full tonight. Amen. But I just want to share a few things with you. I want to share a little bit about the ministry and what's going on there. So let me give you some numbers that from January to June of this year. And I know it's not all about numbers.
Right.
Amen. But each and every number is a soul.
That's right.
It's a soul that has changed their life. It is a soul that has given their heart and life to Jesus Christ and are now bound for heaven and not bound for hell. Oh, and it just thrills my soul. 269 salvations. A lot of people will tell you that's just jailhouse religion.
Come on, preacher.
They'll say that those people are not worth going in and preaching the gospel. I've even heard Sunday school teachers say, well, you don't need to be going out there. You can't reach them anyway. I can't reach anybody. But the Lord God, He can do exactly what He needs to do. He can change a life around in every situation of their life if they'll just give it to Him. Rededications, 445. We've had an attendance of 3,321.
Wow.
Bibles, we've given out 971 Bibles. Classes, we've given out 152 pairs. Now let me say this to you tonight. I know some of you came in and you've seen all the display that I have out on the floor out there on the table. And all of that is what I use to minister to these men and women that are in the jail. I make sure that I meet some needs before I can go talk to them. I want to meet the needs, that their physical needs, just as Jesus met physical needs before He done anything in their lives. And that is my heart.
Amen.
That is my heart. To see people won to Jesus Christ.
Yes.
People that are going through difficult trials in their life. Everything that was out on the table tonight and everything that I give out through the whole year, that comes strictly from Mount Pleasant Baptist Church, which is my home church.
Amen.
And I have a budget of $10,000 a year to put toward all of this. My church is great to help me out in that fashion. And I applaud them. And they support me as a missionary. I'm a missionary with the North American Mission Board. I'm a chaplain with the Southern Baptist Chaplain Association. But my church stands behind me. But they can only go so far. And it's so hard for me to even come to a church and say, hey, I need some help. Let me tell you a little bit about who I am. In 1999, I joined Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. Shortly after coming, on Father's Day of June of 1999, I asked my son to come to church with me. I said, I don't want anything for Father's Day, don't want nothing. All I want you to do is come to church with me on Father's Day.
Amen.
Well, he did. Brought his family. That morning, all I wanted him to do was get to the altar. God had something different in mind. That morning at the altar call, my wife and I both went down to the altar and rededicated our hearts and lives to Jesus Christ.
Amen.
I felt a hand on my shoulder. That was my son. He gave his heart and life to Jesus Christ. God had my whole family right there, right then and there. And all of us were baptized just a little bit a while after that. My heart was full, amen. Because God had answered prayers for me. He'd done some great work there. But as we were, as a month went along, our pastor at church, I don't know if y'all know him or not, his name is Brother Doug Newton. He was preaching, and he said something about starting a prison ministry. And that just touched my heart. That morning I went home, had lunch and everything, and then Terry had laid down to take a nap, and I was in reading my Bible. And I don't know about you, but sometimes the Lord don't speak to me. Amen? And He spoke to me, and He says, I want you involved in this prison ministry. Well, when my wife woke up, I told her about it. She says, well, don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. Let's see what God's going to do with this. Well, that night we went back to Sunday night church, and the missions director of missions director came to me and asked me personally, Howard, we would love for you to be involved in this prison ministry. But see, the thing about it, we hadn't even started.
Amen.
Amen. Hadn't even started one at this point. So God was opening some doors, and we had to walk through those. Well, I don't know if y'all know Brother Ralph Chapman that was at the Carroll County Jail for 28 years. Y'all remember him? Great man of God, just a sweet man. Had done a great work there at that Carroll County Jail and the Carroll County Prison. Well, about 2 months rolled along, and they couldn't get anything done at the prison or at the jail. And they came to me, the mission director came back to me and says, Howard, we can do nothing with this. He said, why don't you try and do something with it? I said, okay, here I'm ready. I'm going to go. I'll just go and talk to Brother Ralph. He's going to open all the doors. He's going to do everything that he needs to do. And he's going to let us in because we need to start a prison ministry.
That's right.
Well, was I wrong? And Brother Ralph just shut the doors on me just quick and says, no, I don't have no room. Period. I wasn't going to take that. My heart would not let me sleep that night. I was tossing and turning, got up praying, and I knew that this is what God wanted for our church. Not only for the church, but for me. 6 o'clock the next morning, I called Brother Ralph on his home phone. I said, Brother Ralph, God has had me up all night. I said, he won't let me sleep. He says, Howard, I tell you what you can do. You meet me down at the jail and let's talk. Well, when I got there, he put me in with another ministry that was coming in. Well, we went in with that ministry for about 6 months, and they told me from the get-go, once the 6 months is up, then we'll give you a time slot that your church can have. I went to all their meetings, everything else that they were doing, and seen some things that they were not doing that they needed to be doing. But here I am, I'm this just lowly guy. I don't know nothing what I'm supposed to be doing, but I can see some things that need to be changed here. Well, I guess I made some people mad. And they said, Howard, you're going to have to go somewhere else and start a ministry. Well, here I go. I called Brother Ralph again. He says, meet me down at the jail. Met him down at the jail. He opened up a night for us for one night every week on a Tuesday night. So that's where we started off in the prison ministry, and we've been going strong since 1999.
Praise God.
With all that said, let me tell you why. Well, let me give you a little bit of background of why I am the chaplain today. Because 3 months before Brother Ralph passed away, we had gotten to be great friends and great men of God. And he called me one night about 3 months before he passed away, and he said, Brother Howard, if anything happens to me, I want you to be chaplain over the prison ministry. Well, he didn't tell anybody at all. And then he passed away. Well, let me show you how good God is. 1 week after he passed away, I had the Carroll County Prison. Friday, because God had made the way to do that. Because I'd already been, I would have been with Brother Ralph for so long. I was his right hand man. 2 weeks later, the Carroll County Sheriff's called me and says, can you come and talk to us? I said, sure, I'll come over. And they asked me, he says, Brother Howard, we know that you're the chaplain over there, but we want you to be the chaplain over here at the Carroll County Jail, Sheriff's Office. Well, I knew here was my dilemma. Brother Ralph had both of them, and that's what he wanted me to have. But I was listening to my heart. And I had to make a decision whether or not I'm going to minister to 247 men or to about 600 men and women. So I chose the 600 men and women. But my heart was broken because I knew that this is not what God wanted. I went home that evening. And I couldn't sleep because I knew that that's not what the end of it. Well, little did I know that God had not let the Major sleep all night long that night. Major calls me early in the morning and says, what you doing? I says, I'm out here feeding cows because I was living in a house and running a lady's farm for her just to pay the rent. He says, well, can you come and talk to me? I says, yeah, let me go change clothes. He says, no, I don't want you to go change clothes. Just come on in and talk to me. Well, when I got there, he said, Howard, I'm so sorry. He says, God has whooped me all night with this thing. He says, if you want both of these ministries, they're yours. We want you to do exactly what you need to do. Amen. That's not me. That's God. That's the Holy God that works all things out. Amen. He's a gracious God. He's a wonderful God. He's a loving God. I got a wife, and most of you probably know her, Miss Carrie back there. She works down at the Shepherd's Corner bookstore, and probably you've been in there and talked with her and met with her. Well, bless her heart, she works a part-time job. Only works 31 hours a week. At the time that I got the chaplaincy, I had a cabinet shop, doing great business. But the moment they said, yes, this is it, Terry and I talked about it. And we knew that I was working on the farm and doing that, so we had our rent covered. And we talked about it, and we said that we can do this on our own and live on what she's making. You say, well, that is very bad of you. Why are you going to let your wife work and you're not doing that? When God tells you to do something, you better do it. And if you don't, you're going to get beat up. Well, what I done is I went up there and locked the doors to the cabinet shop and walked away from it. For 2 years, Terry and I, we done the ministry for 2 years. No support at all. Just on what she made. And that was hard. My church didn't even support me because I wasn't a missionary at that time. So it's not about the money.
That's right.
It's not about the money. Because I could have been working in a secular job, I could have been working at the cabinet shop and doing the remodeling business and everything going good. But I could not do that. My heart was not there. My heart was to see people saved. My heart was to see something different in life. Amen? Our ministry is called Compassion Ministries. Why? Because God has a heart. In Mark chapter 6, verse number 34, it says, this is where Jesus is, as they've killed, beheaded John the Baptist, and all the disciples are in a state of mind that they're worried about what's going on. Is everybody going to come and kill them? Are they going to come and kill Jesus? And then here's where it starts up, and they departed into a desert place by ship and privately, and the people saw them and departed, and many knew him, and ran afoot thither out of all the cities, and outwent them, and came together unto him. And listen at the words of Jesus here in 34. And Jesus, when he came out, saw much people, and was moved with compassion toward them, because they were as sheep, not having a shepherd, and began to teach them many things. That's why I call it Compassion Ministries. Because my heart is to see others that are walking around blind, that are dealing with these drugs, that are dealing with alcohol, that are dealing with a lifestyle that Satan has them locked up in their own minds, in their own lives, and is trying to kill them. Why is my heart like this? Because I was once one of them. I was once a drug addict. I was once one that was out there selling drugs. I was once one that was out there doing these things that were tearing up lives. Tearing up lives from every form, and didn't see anything wrong with it. But when God changed my heart, when He changed me, He said, you are free, and you are free indeed. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm in this prison ministry. This is why God has got me here. He gave me a heart of compassion for the people and what they're going through, because I know what they're going through.
Amen.
Where's your compassion?
That's right.
For these people?
That's right.
Brother Warren and some of the other guys that I work with don't know all this. But you do now. Amen?
That's right.
But I say this to give God the glory and the honor. That's why my wife says, don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody that he wants you to go in the prison ministry. Because, hey, he's probably going to put you there. And he did. Amen. It was God himself that had to do it. Amen. And the other times it was me putting myself there. Amen. But this time God has put me there. We've been there since 2007, working in the prison ministry and allowing God to use us in those fashions. This week, today I just had a text a few moments ago that we had 15 salvations just today. 15 salvations today. Last Wednesday, I get to counsel men and women one-on-one. And I had 2 salvations right behind each other. One man came in and gave his heart and life to Christ. A few minutes later, another man came in and gave his heart and life to Christ. Sometimes you don't have to do anything. All you got to do is be a willing vessel right now and let God bring them to you. That's what He wants to do. He wants to bring those to you. Brother, this is only the 3rd church that I've come to and asked for help. That's not me. But see, my situations have changed in my life too. My wife is still working a part-time job. We've had to move from the farm, so I'm having to pay double what I would have been paying as rent. And for the last 8 years, we've been doing it on our own. Now, our church has been right behind us, and I've had a couple of churches to come along with us. But to go out and ask for someone to help, that's a hard thing for a man to do. But see, the thing about this is, we have missionaries that are all over the world. And y'all send missionaries all over the world and support missionaries all over the world, correct? This is my full-time job. I'm there every day. Even Saturdays, even Sundays. 7 days a week sometimes. And I only have the Carroll County Jail, I have the Carroll County Prison too. So there's, if you might say, I've got about 800 members in my church. There's the places God. Here's what I'd ask you to do. I know that I'm taking up a lot of time tonight, brother, and I had some other things, but I'm not going to go there, all right? But here, at Christmas time, we give out Christmas packages to all the inmates there at the jail, all the inmates at the prison, all the, or I should say residents, shouldn't I? Yeah. Amen. Because that's what they are. They're residents. That is, they're residents for just a little while. Amen. And we supply candies, cookies, apples, oranges, pens, pads, anything that we can stuff in those bags. And what we do is we make an assembly line out in front of where my office is in a little hallway. What I do is I go to other churches and I ask them to donate. And then what I do is I take all the donations and then I go to Sam's or BJ's and pick up everything at one time. So everything is exactly the same, so that you don't have somebody fighting over something. If somebody doesn't get a little pin or a piece of candy in their bag, hey, that's going to cause some disrupt. Amen. So we want to give everybody the same thing and do what we need to do there. And that's where another point that your church can help there. And then you can bring some of your people down there to help with the ministry there, to help with the packages. That is another outreach that you can do to help me. Amen. I need that. I need the volunteers. Because I can't do this without you. It's ultimately God that's going to do everything. But I need you. Amen. You say, well, what do you preach? I preach salvation. Amen. Preach salvation. Preach eternal security. Because without eternal security, you're lost. You're dying and going to hell. We preach water baptism. That means immersion, amen? That doesn't mean to be sprinkled. That means to be put up underneath the water all the way and brought back up, amen? Amen. So we're going to preach out of the King James Bible. Because it is the truth. It is the truth, and the truth will set you free. All these others are just commentaries about what somebody else thinks they're going to say. Now, that is a fight for me at the Carroll County Jail, because I have one church that is able to bring the NIV Bible in. This church was grandfathered in before I ever got there. But the only reason that they're there is because Brother Ralph was out sick for about 6 months before he passed away. And they slipped in. Unaware. And so now I'm dealing with that. But the thing about that, when you deal with something like that, what you do is present the truth to them. You show them the errors. Amen. That is in that Bible through the truth of the Word. So I don't use it as a stumbling block. I use it as a building block. Amen. So that they can see and understand that they need the King James Version. Because a lot of people say, well, it's just too hard to read. Well, if it's on the 3rd and 4th grade level, just about everybody can deal with it, can't you? Amen. But that is my heart. My heart is to be with these men and women so that God will use me. Not that I'm anything, but He gives me the opportunity to go in and share the gospel. Amen. All right, brother.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to let you have it. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a blessed day.
Brother Stacy, you and Miss Lisa made sure to get us information for us in support, and we're going to support that. And I know some of y'all look at me funny because I'm opening this Bible, but I'm going to go back to where we were this morning, Jeremiah chapter number 6. Y'all okay? Say amen. I won't be long. I'll be honest with you, but I was going to preach. Brother Charles actually taught it in Sunday school this morning out of Romans chapter number 2. And Brother Charles taught on the hypocrite, Romans chapter 2, verses about 1 through 6, around through there, I believe. And I was going to preach on hypocrites tonight. And I was afraid half of you quit coming, so I'm kidding. But the Lord kept bringing me back to Jeremiah, where we were this morning. And I'm going to read the verse. I'm not going to recap a whole lot of this morning. But the choir sang that song this morning, I'll Take the Old Highway. And that was the title of my message. So tonight's going to kind of be a part 2 to this morning. I got a little bit stirred up this morning. A lot of people might think I was mad. I wasn't mad. I'm just stirred up about some things and the direction some people are going. We ought to be running to God and not away from God. Amen. We want to be as far in as we can get in. We don't want to be walking on the edge. Be on the edge, you're close to falling off. I ain't talking about falling out of salvation. I'm talking about falling away from the things of God. In Jeremiah chapter number 6, he said, thus saith the Lord in verse number 16, stand ye in the way, and see, and ask for the old path. Where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your soul. They said, we will not walk therein. I mentioned this morning, or we talked about what old paths or old time religion, if you will, what it is and what it ain't.
It's not a bunch of stupid traditions that have been handed down from one to the other. I remember a story years ago where a lady was cooking a ham. She had her entire family there, her grandmother and her mother, and she started to prepare the ham, and she took a knife real smart and cut the whole end of that ham off and threw it in the garbage. And her grandmother said, honey, why did you cut the whole end of that ham off and throw it in the garbage? She said, because that's the way Mama always done it. So grandmother looked at the mother and said, why did you cut the end off of your ham? She said, because you always did. She said, I only did that because it wouldn't fit in my pan. There's a lot of things that are done in the name of God and religion that are just really stupid. Amen. It'd hair lip some churches if they didn't have conference every month. They vote on what color toilet paper to buy. Go down. Somebody said, when's the last time y'all had conference? I don't remember it. We go to buy something big, we might vote on it. Because the bank requires it. Y'all okay? We have a business meeting once a month to discuss a bunch of nothing and open the floor for everybody to fight over something that don't matter anyway. Somebody help me right here. Amen. We talk about what old-time religion is and what it ain't. It ain't how loud you shout. It ain't how loud you run around the building. It ain't whether or not you wear a white shirt when you preach. Them guys that preach after every talk. It ain't whether or not you got facial hair. Whether or not you wearing cowboy boots or bean pills. Amen. I know a man on the mission field seeing more people saved you'll ever dream about. He's in sandals. What are you going to do with that? I ain't fixing to come to church in flip-flops. I'm just saying. Bunch of this junk that people are calling old-time religion. Ain't old-time religion at all. Old-time religion was a using kind of religion. They didn't use that word religion. Are we okay tonight? This morning, we said that there was a requirement. If you want God and you want old-time religion, hey, I don't want these kids to grow up and us die off and we leave them with nothing. Amen. By the time they're grown, I want them to know how to worship God. I want them to know what Bible's right. I want them to know the truth about salvation, eternal security. I want them to know the doctrine of the Word of God. I want them to have some spiritual legs to stand on. Lot grew up with Abraham. One day God told him to separate. Or Abraham told Lot to separate and told him to choose wherever he wanted to go. Lot was fine as long as he lived with Uncle Abraham. Because he is riding on Uncle Abraham's religion. But one of these days our kids are going to have to stand on their own spiritual legs. And bless God, I think it's our responsibility to give them something to stand on. If I die today, I don't want this ministry to die. I want it to go on. I want one of these young men to say, bless God, I'll stand up in His place. Are y'all okay? There was a requirement. If you're going to find the right way, you're going to have to be interested in it. Come on, listen. If you're going to find the right way, you're going to have to be interested in it. There's a requirement. God will let you have it if you want. I'm so sick and tired of people. Oh, we need revival. We need revival. If you really wanted revival, God will give you a revival. Can I get a witness right there? Oh, pray for revival. We ain't praying for revival. And I'm satisfied. Don't let the Holy Ghost come in here and mess with me. Nobody would say that, but Lord knows it's true. There's a requirement. You want God, He'll help you out. He'll give you all of Himself. You can handle it. There was a requirement. Anyway, I'm not going to preach that again. But I just want to look at this verse again tonight for a few minutes. Y'all give me a few minutes and I'm done, okay? Thus saith the Lord. What's the next word? Stand. Stand. When you've done all the stand. We got folks in our churches ain't standing anymore. But I'm not going to talk about, I'll talk about where we stand on this or where we stand on that. Here, I think this word stand is not so much talking about a position as it is not moving. They say it again. It's not talking so much about a physical position, whether you're standing or sitting. It's talking about stopping. Have you ever done this? Used to, back before we started flying on the airplanes, I drove everywhere we went to meet. I've been lost as a ball in high weeds, man. I'm talking about, I got lost in Louisiana one time, son. I finally just stopped at a stop sign and stood there at the hood of my truck, thinking, dear Lord, somebody's got to come back here sometime. This old guy pulled up in a pickup truck, rolled down his window and spit. About 15 feet, buddy. I'm talking about the guy was good. He said, son, you broke down? I said, no, I'm lost. He said, I know right where you are. I said, I'm trying to get to Ginger, Louisiana. He said, you can't get there from here. Lost. Have you ever been there? And you get to going down this road. I'm talking about back before GPS and that aggravating woman keep wanting you to turn around. You're going down this road and you're thinking in your mind, this stop come out somewhere. And you just keep going and you keep going and you keep going and it ain't coming out where you thought it's going to come out. And finally something inside your mind said, stop. Because all you do is getting loster. Is that a word? Isn't that loster and loster and loster? Hey, some of y'all just need to stop. Just stop. Quit going. If you keep going the direction you're headed, let me tell you where y'all going. Whatever direction you're headed. That's where. Y'all all right? Let me tell you where your marriage is going. The direction it's headed. Let me tell you where your children are going. The direction you're leading them. Now then, we'll just stop. Brother Jack said, this ain't going where I thought it was going.
That's right.
I kind of picture the landscape in my mind and think, yeah, this road, it's going to come back out over here. Anybody ever done that? You just go. God, I know God's people like that. I know so many that just keep going and going. You ain't staying tonight. You just need to stop.
That's right.
It's like, where am I?
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you, Lord.
Like that old guy in the pickup truck said, I know exactly where you at. Well, I've got news for you. God knows where you are. But as long as you're going and going and going and going, and you don't ever stop to see where you are, are you listening to me?
Yeah.
Now then, you just going to take a break, dude. You need to stop.
Yeah.
God said, Adam, where are you at? Adam, where are you? I'm over here hiding. Why are you hiding? Well, naked. Naked, why are you? Who told you forgive me. Y'all okay? That's what he did.
That's right. That's what he said.
Ask you a question. Did God ask Adam where he was or not?
Yes, sir.
Clearly. Adam, where art thou? This is what he said.
Yes.
You reckon God didn't know where Adam was? You reckon God's walking around in heaven? He only made 2 people. It ain't like he's got a whole herd to keep up with. He's got 2. And he can't find one of them. When he said Adam, I think he's talking to both of them. Adam, where are you at? God's walking around in heaven. Holy Ghost, you've seen Adam. Son, you've seen Adam. I can't find him for nothing. The Bible said the eyes of the Lord are in every place. God knows exactly where Adam is. But here's what God needs. God needs for Adam to know where Adam is. You go to any liberal church tonight, you find any preacher that's toting the NIV, and you ask him how's he doing, he's doing well.
Sure. Yeah. Come on. Amen.
Yes, boy. Preach it.
You know what the problem is? He don't know where he's at. You ask the average Christian, how you doing? Great. Everybody can't be doing great all the time.
You're right.
Every now and then we can stop. Be sustained. Stand. God won't be stand. Look at the next word. Stand and what? Sit. That's why we need to stop or stand. Sometimes we need to stop and open our eyes. See what? Where you are.
That's right.
That's right.
Isn't it funny? You can see where everybody else is at.
Amen.
And you can Facebook about where everybody else is at.
That's right.
And you know about everybody else's spirituality and how close to God they are. Well, I'll tell you, this guy, high so-and-so's hooking up.
That's right.
I'm down with now. Boy, I wish so-and-so to heard that message. They might have got right with God. They might if you did. I'm just to be honest with you. I feel you. I know where you're coming from. I ain't got a bit of problem telling you what's wrong with Jesse. No problem whatsoever. I ain't got no problem telling you what's wrong with my case. You just don't have enough time. But I'd be doggone if I'm going to tell you what's wrong with me. Can we get a witness right there?
That's right.
Amen.
We know where everybody else is at.
Yeah.
Oh, we can see that 2020.
Yeah. Come on.
But we're blind to the fact of where we are. He said, stand and see. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you are really satisfied with where you are? How many of you think God is real satisfied with where you are? He said, stand and see. Before you can ever figure out where it is you're supposed to be going, you got to know where you're at.
That's right.
You know what that man told me? Standing at a stop sign in Louisiana. He said, son, I know you think I'm kidding, but you really can't get jiggy with me. He said, you're going to have to turn around and go back where you come from. I said, Georgia? He said, no. He said, you're going to have to go way back up here to where you got off track to begin with. He said, you remember that last town you come through and you took a ride? I said, yes, sir. He said, you're going to have to go back to where you took a ride, and you're going to have to take a left. There ain't no other way. Oh, but I've been driving an hour. This is coming out out somewhere. Yeah, if I'd have kept going, I'd have been in New Orleans. Eating crawfish. He said, you got to go back.
That's good. Amen.
Might be something to do. Might have to go back to where we got off.
Yeah.
Good. Preacher told me a while back, said the church got a little off. We kind of drifted away from what we're supposed to be. We might have to go back where he got off.
Yeah.
Might have to go back where it went well. He said, you need to stand, you need to stop. But Charles, every now and then, as some of us have been saved for years, every now and then, we need to stop. Take a little check. See where we are. You see. Not worried about the else. My job as a pastor, I've got to stop every now and then and see where his church is. Amen. That's to reel this thing in every now and then. Amen. I tell these girls every now and then, you ain't singing in the choir with breeches on.
Amen.
Now, see, she's got to reel it back. Whoa, wait a minute, it's getting a little. Are y'all okay?
Amen.
Amen.
Well, y'all just down on me. They got a dress code at the golf course down here. So really, it's just, yeah, you've got to stand and see where we are. How do churches die? They just let it happen over to them. And they die so slowly, they don't even know it's happening. Hey, you know what you got? I got to quit. Come on. You got a bunch of old people sitting in these churches that's a rock concert. Who grew up with the right Bible and the moving of the Holy Ghost. And they're sitting there just because they've been there all their life. Wearing their earplugs. Telling the truth. How did it get that way? Slow and sure. Yes, sir. They quit looking where they were.
Amen.
He said you got to stand, you got to stop. See where he at. Then you're going to have to say something. He said, stand and see. Ask.
Amen.
Ask. Well, I wish the Lord would do. Have you asked? I wish the Lord would stir in my heart again. Have you asked? I remember when some of you used to shout, shed tears, come to the altar and pray. Now you resemble a knot in the wall. A statue. Null and void. Okay? You'd be surprised what God will do if you get asked. What do we ask for? How to get back on track? God, where did I get off? Where did I go wrong? Lord, help me to get back to where I ought to be. Ask for the old path. I want it. I want it. Amen. I'm going to promote old-time religion. I'm going to preach old-time religion. I'm going to practice old-time religion. Now, I'm sick of what some of these guys are calling old-time religion. They think because they wave the Bible and shout about it being King James, that's old time. No, being old time is know why you say it. Being old time is really knowing the God of the book you're waving around. It's funny, some of this crowd, they got their little catchphrases to get everybody worked up. They know what makes people shout. Okay? I've been in meetings where the preacher was so vulgar, calling women ugly names. Calling homosexuals ugly names. And people shout. I mean, I'm talking about throwing songs. Yeah, born again, yes! And you preach about the blood and Calvary, and they sit there like See what it takes to get that crowd stirred up. Loose women and homosexuals. Oh, they get excited about that. And they call it old-time religion. Stand, stop, see where you are. Ask for the old past. I want the old past where people are saved. I want the old past where the blood's preached and people's lives are changed. I want the old past where people like Dixie get an altar and shout. They give testimony like they gave tonight. Are you listening? It's the kind of ministry I want. One of my favorite songs in the hymn books, old Fanny Crawford. She was giving her testimony one night in a rescue mission. After the meeting was over, this fella who gave his life to Christ came to him and said, Miss Fanny, do you realize what just happened? She said, yes, son, you got saved. He said, yes, ma'am, but not only that. She said, you rescued my mama's baby from hell. She went home and she got out her braille and her little braille pen and she began to write, rescue the perishing, care for the dying. Jesus is merciful. Jesus will save. That's the old past I'm looking for. I'm talking about reaching down to the down and out. I'm talking about the sinner that's out in the gut. I'm talking about the people that most folks won't let me hear. I want them in here. Tattoos, piercings, all of it, I want them in here. I'll never forget, Brother Jason, this long-tongued woman in our church. I bet you her tongue straight from wall to wall. If she don't know that thing ain't no better word. We started talking about having an RU ministry, an addictions program. This was years ago. This is before you even got here. You know what she said? She said, now, Pastor, do you really want those kind of people in our church? I said, well, be honest with you, I started for you. I don't know why she didn't come back. Old past. Old past. Forget which old preacher it was. I believe it was old Lester Roloff. Said he wanted to build what was he called it? A rescue shop. Right in front of the gates of hell. Hallelujah. Amen. Stand. See. Say. He said, then sojourn. Stay. He said, ask for the old past. Where's the good way? And walk there. Don't get off that path. Stay on it. Amen. You preach boys, look up here. Brother Dylan, Brother Aaron, Brother Mike Head, Jeremiah, y'all boys listen up. I'll even talk to the adults. BJ, y'all walk away from this book and we're going to come visit you in the night. Amen. And where you at? Amen. Amen. To whom much is given, much will be required. You know too much. You've seen too much to turn back on God. Stay in the way. I'll never forget the message Brother Sandy preached years ago, Brother Charles. He said, are you in the way or are you in the way? You're one or the other, amen? Are you in the way or are you in the way? Y'all okay with that statement? You understand what I'm saying? Stay put. I started with Jesus. I think I'll finish with Jesus. I started preaching with the power of the Holy Ghost of God. I think I'll stay with the power of the Holy Ghost of God. I never will desire or have no desire to be an orator. I want to be a preacher that preaches under the anointing of the Holy Ghost of God.
Amen.
You said, I want somebody deeper.
I'm coaching plenty of them. They can speak Greek and all that stuff. And they're about as dead as they are deep.
Yes, sir.
What good would it do if I preach deeper? You ain't getting this. Stand, see, say, stay. I'm 53 years old. I haven't been too far, man. I ain't changing that.
Amen.
Amen. Hey, can we give you one more? Or actually, there's two more. If you'll stand, and you'll see, and you'll say, and you'll stay, you'll find safety.
Amen, brother.
Hallelujah.
There's safety in staying with God. That's what he said. He said, as for the old path, where's the good way? Walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your soul. Amen. I believe you get in danger when you start veering off on some of them other paths. That no Sunday night church and them life groups.
Yeah, come on, brother.
Sale group. Brother Howard, I like your kind of sale group. I stopped, me and Brother Tony Shirley stopped in Knoxville, Tennessee one time. I wanted to look at this building. It was beautiful. Church building, brand new. We went in, they had this guy show us around, and he was so sweet. But anyway, he was showing us around. They had this big banner on a pole, and it had building blocks. And I said, what's that? He said, well, that's our sale groups. I said, sale groups? He said, don't you guys have sale groups? I said, yeah, they go preach to them on Sunday. He said, no, we don't have church on Sunday night. We have sale groups. We meet those small groups. You ought to study that out, see how that's working for some of these churches.
That's right.
I remember that. There's safety and staying with the stuff. Amen. Well, but as always, there's stubbornness. You know what? They like their sin in their way better than they like God's way.
Amen.
The preacher said, hey, the Lord said to y'all to stand and see, ask for the old path. Where's the good way? Walk therein. You'll find rest for your soul. You know what they said? No. No, thank you. Stubbornness. Stubbornness. They said, we will not walk there. So what's the Bible? I've said it a million times. Our church ain't for everybody. I can spot people when they come in the door and say, hey, they ain't gonna like it. I really can. I'm not being judgmental. I mean, that's their prerogative. Is that the right word? We're too loud, too boisterous for a lot of folks. That's okay. There's another church right down the street. They want quiet. I'd recommend one. They can get their nap out. Ain't nobody gonna wake them up. I promise you that. Amen. But I'm gonna tell you something. We ain't changing.
Amen.
I'm gonna fight you a whole lot over a whole lot, but I will fight you over the fundamental truth of that book. We're gonna stand in that old way. And we're going to preach that old way. Amen.
I ain't gonna let it dry up and die around here.
Amen.
As long as I got breath, I'm gonna shout. I'm gonna praise. Y'all okay now? I know it's been long. He said it's a good one.
Yes, amen.
It's a good one. I love to go to church and leave thinking, man, I enjoy that.
Yes.
Oh, I enjoy that. I will make it throughout the week on them 3 testimonies right over there. I love these ladies.
Yes, sir.
I've got their back.
Amen.
Y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
I'd build a church out of it. That's what Jesus did. Took a bunch of sinners, saved them, put them on the right path. Hallelujah. Let's stand up. Let's talk about it. Hey, this is we're fixing to go home. But I wonder if there's somebody who stop tonight and said, Lord, where am I? I don't know how I got here, but I sure would like to get back.
Yeah.
Just going to have to stop. But look and see where everybody else is at. Where are you at? Where are you? Just mind the Lord. People's already in this altar, they're going to sing.
It's hard to see it now. You feel your
to stand still. Preached a message one time. There's a verse that said that they were busy here and there. Busy here and there. Brother Freddie made a statement. I've heard it 1,000 times, but there's not a day went by since last Monday that statement hadn't rung in my head. If you're too busy to pray, you're too busy. Sometimes we just have to slow down, stop, let God speak to our hearts and show us. Man, I want to go the right way. I want to do the right thing. I want to lead you in the right direction. That's hard to do if I'm going the wrong way, wouldn't it? Thank you for being in church tonight. Brother Howard, I want you and your wife, if you would, I want you to go to your table. There's tables set up right here in the hallway. Now, we took up an offering for them this morning, and Sister Lisa's got them a check, I do believe. But a lot of you are not in here on Sunday morning, and so you might have missed out on that. If you want to be a blessing to them, and you want to give, just walk by their table and put it in his hand. And it's Brooks, right? Yeah, Brother Howard Brooks. If you want to write a check, I'm sure he'll take a check. But be a blessing to them tonight. Go by there and give them, and tell them what a blessing they are. Preachers, you want to go by there and talk to them. Says, "Hey, any chance I might go preach sometime?" Amen. I'm gonna tell you, I used to do that a lot as a kid preaching. First place, Brother Spartan, I ever preached outside the pulpit was in a jail. Ooh, what an experience. Amen. Captive audience, they can't go nowhere. Amen. And be honest with you, a lot of times the folks go meeting with you. You'd be surprised how many of them grew up in church just like you're sitting in right here. They just need somebody to remind them, hey, the Lord still loves you. Amen. What a blessing. Thank y'all for the good singing tonight, Brother Todd. That was all good. Well, I enjoyed the youth choir tonight. Y'all are blessed. Love y'all. Brother Todd has to go to work. So appreciate my son-in-law. Amen. What a blessing. Well, let's bow our heads and we're going to be dismissed tonight. Well, it's been another great day. It's been another great day in church today. God's been so good. And never mind, I'm going to stop. Let's bow our heads and we're going to pray. Brother Matt, why don't you pray this message?
Sure is good to be out here in your house. Yes. Y'all all the way over here in Georgia, God. People still serving you and praising you, God. It's good to be here, God. And I'm like those disciples.